Now this is what we've been waiting for. Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. For our mod collection demo shop update this week, I received a funny message on my Facebook page saying I've successfully bullied the European mod shop into having good inventory this week. I hope that's not how they actually feel. I've just come to expect a lot out of the mod collection guitars. So when Gibson opened a second international one, I wanted them to get the same cool offerings that we do. But it's very possible they were just on summer vacation. But we're actually going to start with them this week because look at this custom. They call it Palm Fan Green. And I'm just in love with this one. It's great. I just like the nice dark green and light greens. That design, it just kind of looks like the sun shining down upon you. Then we have this more neon green binding, which normally would not be something I would suggest on a Les Paul custom, but it works on this finish, especially with the gold hardware yet. And they did a phenomenal job on this headstock. I love the fact that they took the time to mask off the mother of pearl instead of making that also lime green. It pops so much better now. So it's kind of like a widowed effect, but not the full-on widow treatment. And did they fumble the back? No, they did not. You got the continuation of the design on the back of the body, and now you might say, hey, that neck is pretty boring. But then look at this. Another palm fan treatment in kind of a faux stinger-like design. I like that. That's cool. I didn't see this on launch day. There's a reverse stinger upon your stinger right here. Go back to this full shot photo, adjust your contrast a little bit, and it looks like it goes at least halfway down the neck. It might go further, and it's just hard to see due to lighting reflections. But this one was €5,500, including everything, which at the time of recording was just shy of $6,000. So needless to say, not surprised that thing has sold, because I would have bought it myself if it was in the USA shop. And next up, we've got the return of the SGs that are kind of hard to sell. They called it Cinnamon Challenge Metallic. So we've seen these in the USA mod collection before, and they don't tend to get a lot of love. It just looks like they take an aniline dyed SG standard, and then they strip down the finish as much as they can, and then they spray over a new color on it. So we've got a tortoiseshell pickguard, you've got your fake trem system, but what's really unique about this one is that it's got a wrap tailpiece. So it had to have started life with a real trem, and then instead of stop barring it, you get your intonatable wrap tailpiece. Orange colored knobs, one of them is a little bit different. Headstock, ooh, some sort of a ding right there. That's probably why it ended up here, but it almost looks like a new satin finish. But here you can see the double staining effect back here, but whoa. Did not notice that on launch day. Original Gibson modified. We haven't seen that in the USA shop in a while. I'd have to double check the serial numbers, but I'm curious if that's the same one that just didn't sell in the US. And they like modified it further, because they had another one called Apple Flavor Metallic. Of the two, I prefer this one, but it has similar modifications except for we kept our sideways trim this time. And the back is a little bit more predominantly green. Watermelon-like, if you will. There's also an interesting junior that they put a trapeze tailpiece on, but this one was $1,500. And honestly, I had a hard time telling if that was Gibson USA or a custom shop. I mean, from this photo, I would think USA. But then when you get to your serial number, it looks like they put a new ink stamped one. So that could have been a steal of a deal because it's also got the vintage style tuners. It just kind of depends what mods they did to it. It did have the custom shop case though. I tried to look up the serial number, but the only reason I knew this one existed is because a helpful viewer sends me the EU mod collection stuff on my Facebook page, just in case something sells before I check it. Because I think they update somewhere around 3 a.m. US Eastern Standard Time, so I'm dedicated to this series as far as giving you the USA ones. And then ended out there was a standard 60s and what they called Ember Burst. I wasn't too excited about this one, but it's got a nice top to it. They did make some cosmetic changes. It's just when you look like this and have a satin finish, it's hard to compete to our other ones, but hey, look at the back. It's almost like an entirely different guitar. Black, red, black, slightly darker red. It doesn't match the top exactly, but hey, at least it's better than what we've had in previous weeks. So now the USA demo shop, they had some interesting ones themselves. This time we've got carbon Fauxber. Nah, just kidding, it's Fauxber. So naturally, we have a fake carbon fiber vibe, which I'm sure if you're into the whole carbon fiber scene, this is probably insanely cool. You've got the P94 in the neck, regular humbucker in the bridge. It appears to be all black chromed out. This is where they got some style points. They actually did it to the headstock as well. And hey, cool, that looks like the more historic style truss rod cover. But it looks like we've got the design painted on the edge, even on the backside of the headstock, in what appears to be a stinger-like format. You can see it all over the back. Kind of interesting that they chose to go for the stinger vibe rather than just doing the entire guitar carbon fiber on the neck. Certainly unique. Speaking of unique, how do you guys feel about vintage smooth? First off, we don't see a lot of double cut Les Paul specials in the mod collection, so just seeing one in general was pretty cool. But we've got some sort of a darker black finish with a cream stripe, and then it appears they're exposing the natural mahogany, so a clear stripe, and then they do the black cream black, natural, and then finish it out, which gives you a really cool neck through Firebird-like design. And then you got your cream P90s, there's no pick guard, the knobs are an acquired taste. But they've really committed to this one. Not only do you have it on the back of the body as well, but you've got the stripe up the center of the neck. But we've got the special DS serial number style. And the other thing that was weird about this one is the photo style is completely different. The guitar is facing the opposite direction that it usually does. But then we got this interesting Twilight finish for $3,100. It's a standard 50s, and you've got kind of like huckleberry taffy stripes going all along it. It's all right, I like it. The back just appears to be black, including our tuner tips. Reading through here, it's a black metallic back and sides, so a little bit more special in person. But check out this 57 custom reissue. They called it Honeynut Cheerios. The biggest thing to know about 57 custom reissues is they have mahogany tops. I mean, despite most of them being black and you can't actually see it, that is the largest spec difference between this and a 68 style custom. And if you're curious about what the difference between a 68 and a regular custom, one of the biggest ones in modern day production is the APR1 bridge. But you've got cool mahogany wood grain exposed, you've got the ambered out knobs, uncovered black pickups, and then they did a really interesting effect here. It kind of reminds me of 34 burst that we documented on the ES-235, but they just sprayed a little bit of amber in the center of the headstock, so it aged just around our custom emblem and the inlays itself. I think it's kind of cool. We just need to experiment a little bit more with it. The back's where this one gets really cool. You can definitely see a little bit more of the amberness come through with the great wood grain on the back. Looks like they darkened the heel just a tad, then left the rest of the neck alone. Hey, that's not too bad of a weight for a solid mahogany guitar. To follow that up, Mystic Forest Sparkle. $3,400, let's see what they're offering. A really dark green, super sparkle Les Paul. It's one of those things where I really feel that the photos probably don't do it justice, but you've got your uncovered pickups, blacked out knobs. Ooh, nice. Okay, they did the back, and they painted the back plates. But man, from this photo, the finish looks very textured, like it's not even. I'm sure the glossy clear coat smooths all that out. It's probably just more so an optical illusion, which bodes well for this thing being absolutely explosive in person. How about this Scarlett Pearline? I believe they're trying to make it look like some sort of a football helmet, kind of a cool sporty guitar with a cherry finish. But check this out, your stripe goes onto the back and it looks like it also goes onto the edge, so props to them for that. And then matching headstock happened. Well, matching to the stripe anyway. So you tell me, what does this one remind you of? Next up for $4,900, we had Poker Chip Red Satin. This is just a regular base model custom, satin finish. I don't see anything special here necessarily. Headstock looks normal outside of our satin finish. But then you flip it over to the back. Okay, they give it some flair with a black neck and ultra long stinger. That combination of black, red, and gold is lethal. Love it. But now we've got a classic in Blueberry Burst Satin. That is a really dark blueberry burst. I'd probably call it more like a Twilight finish. I wonder if it has the greenie bucker set in it. Nope, they just reversed a 490 AT. And our back now has pearloid plates. And we've seen this finish before. $3,200 on ES-335. Got our voodoo style pickups with a voodoo styled finish. Looks like a slightly grayed over Gibson logo set. And okay. Burst on the back of the headstock. And the neck and the body gives me very similar vibes to the one that we had reviewed and documented called Arterial Burst. That was definitely one of my favorite semi-hollow guitars that we've documented in the past year or so. And hey, does it feel like this episode just keeps going on and on? That's because they actually gave us 12 new ones this week, instead of the usual 8 to 10 that we've been getting. But we've got an SG Special. Looks like they did the toaster pastry style P90s. Got rid of our pickguard, super ultra gloss finish, gold everywhere. It's got an interesting scheme to it. Probably better appreciated in person. But check out this 345 in baked chestnut. Very evil vibes. The 3-ply binding has never looked so good. It's a nice rustic football-esque finish again. Nice, our pickups. One of the old MHS styles in the neck and a burst bucker in the bridge. Headstock was left alone. And here's what the back looks like. And then finally, a 335 in Fae Green. They're trying to give it like 330-like vibes though. It's green, it's chrome, not too much else has changed. But that's okay, because it's a gloss refin. So now let's kick it off with our demo shop starting USA style. This week they are offering a free Ranger Overdrive if you buy anything. And they dumped a whole bunch of new guitars on us this week. But here's what stood out to me. You don't see many of the custom shop SG Specials, but this one was offered for $3,000. Doesn't the bridge usually supposed to tilt the other way? I'd want to double check the intonation on that one. But otherwise an uncommon model. I really enjoyed this one. Your aged vintage cherry finish, but the clear pickguard with our cream plastics just transforms the entire look of it. Especially nice when you've got your dark rosewood fretboard. After unboxing 24 brand new Les Pauls this past week, I've noticed a lot of Gibson's fretboards have become uniformly dark. I wonder if they're staining them that way, or if their new wood source that they're getting most of these from just has a nice uniform color. I don't necessarily mind the streaky boards, but I know a lot of guys are looking for that even tone throughout, unless you're going for like a really exotic Brazilian. Next up, there's one of the 61 Maestro Vibrola Gibson USA SGs. Relatively unassuming until you go through all the photos and see an interesting blemish. You don't see lacquer chip out around the logo very often. You do see the line around it every single Gibson after a couple of years, but this is like premature cracking. Gotta remember, when you're looking at these photos, look, they have the light exactly on that, so you're going to notice it. In most angles, you probably wouldn't even see. They also had an interesting 1936-inspired advanced jumbo. But I like it because it's got a very old-timey vibe. I mean, look at that old-style Gibson logo with our unique inlay here, as well as on our fretboard. Normally, whenever I see a unique inlay set like that, I go, let's put it on a Les Paul Custom. However, I just don't think that one would work, but maybe with the right finish it would. But now another big daddy that you probably missed. If you hunted the demo shop, you probably passed right over this. It's an ES-345 60s cherry demo. Yeah, well, what's so special about this? Well, it's $3,100. I really like the velvety wood grain that we've got going on. But no, I wanted to feature this one for the first time I've seen this modification within the demo shop. Look at this photo right here. What stands out to you? Is it this weird wood grain chip out thing? No, there's no fret nibs. This is not an acoustic model. It should have fret nibs. It has been refretted. And sure enough, I come down here, they've disclosed it. Refretted with factory medium Jescar wire. I feel like if they're gonna take the time to do that, they should have went for like extra ultra jumbo frets just to make it even more unique, because somebody might prefer that. My guess is in shipping, sometimes if a string gets pressed against your fret and it gets jolted, it can actually cut the fret. And depending on how deep that cut is, determines whether you can just level recrown everything out or if you have to do a full-on refret. That's why if you ship a guitar, it's a good idea to place a nice thick piece of paper or business card or something in between your strings and frets. And other exciting news, this is the first custom color series Les Paul standard to show up in the demo shop. It's the translucent oxblood. It just looks black in most angles until you get a light on it, or you're really looking and you don't have big bright fluorescent lights, as we learned in my unboxing episode. But surprisingly, this is still a popular finish. And I think what's great about it is it's a very traditional oxblood, but with just a little bit of something extra. So I view it as more of a cult classic finish, rather than something that everybody is going to want to pay a small premium for. In fact, most of the custom color series is gone, but if you are interested, I still have my sale running on my personal demo units. But this one, it's got a pretty nice back, but is stamped demo. However, if that stamp bothers you, my demos do not have that. And then I just thought this 50s hand select top was pretty nice. And now the European demo shop, they had a true historic 1960. Okay, I was wondering why this was so much. Like I had to check it on their website. I think they're about 7,400 new within their currency. But technically this one includes value-added tax and everything. But if this is truly a true historic, that means this one is pretty old. I think it was what, around 2016, 2017 that they were using those? Yeah, 2017 by this number. True historics used to be a big thing because there used to be like a step above your regular reissues, but they kind of quickly discontinued that. In fact, we've actually documented 2 true historic prototypes in an unboxing episode a long time ago. So that was an interesting offering. There's one of the Dave Mustaine songwriters, very interesting acoustic guitars. So far, I haven't really been a big fan of the Dave Mustaine signature neck profile, but I feel like on an acoustic, it might work better because it's like a really wide feeling neck. Then how many acoustic guitars do you know that have 24 frets? Here's a pretty nice top on a 50 standard, and then just a nice mellow even 61 335 reissue. And then finally, our UK demo shop friends, they had a couple of new ones, such as this nice top on a 50 standard, And then this 50s Cherry Sunburst had a nice vintage, almost aged look to it because of these mineral streaks within the wood. And then you've got your wood grain on top of that, and then you've got very uniform flame across it. And then we had one for the lefties today, an ES-345. But I noticed it said mod. All right, what did you guys change? So at first I was looking for like a filled in hole or something, but no, it just looks like it left the factory without the pick guard. That is going to wrap up our episode for today, my friends. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will catch you tomorrow on the next one. Take care. If you enjoyed tonight's episode, consider subscribing. I post videos like this every day, and you might even enjoy this next one.